Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about Mattel Creations, the issues I've had with Mattel Creations, and the fact that I'm seeing more people have issues with this. This is the only way you're going to be able to finish up your Origins collections. So there's some problems. I want to get it off my chest. I've been kind of holding some of this stuff in, holding some of this back. I really didn't talk about it so much, but I'll put it all in one video, and then I'm going to show issues other people are having. Yes, this is the same Mattel that maliciously went after some Jurassic Park YouTubers and try to shut their whole channel down. And I know it's hip and fun to bash on Hasbro. I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just airing my issues. But as I see more and more pop up that are affecting other people other than just me, I figure it's time to talk about this. The only thing I really want out of Mattel at all, and this is serious, is Masters Universe. And I barely got one foot, maybe a toe left in it. I just want to get the last remaining characters we need from Origins and not worry about it anymore. But we'll see how that goes, especially with what's going on right now with Mattel Creations. So I'm going to share my issues with you. I'm going to talk about this coming up. First of all, I didn't even want to collect Masters of the Universe, so I would have really probably bought nothing from Mattel at all, except for some of the Jurassic Park stuff that I did pick up, but I'm kind of done with all that. The thing is that I had a collection of vintage, and I didn't like the way they didn't stand very well. It took a lot of space, a lot of real estate, and to complete a collection would have taken a long time. So I sold my collection for like $200 to a guy that it just made his day. It made his world. He came back to me with pictures of his shelf and display and all that kind of stuff, and it felt good. But as time went by, I noticed this Origins caught my eye. Back when Origins came out, it was relatively easy to find. It was $15, and comparably other figures around that size scale were $20, and now we're looking at $25, and then these are now pushing $19 or $20. But it was a good value for the time. I really liked the line. I had fun. It was easy to find in the store. Sometimes you catch some stuff on sale and clearance. Then you got into catching a lot of stuff on super deep clearance, so it was fun. Now we're in the aftermath of all that, and it's no more fun. It's just getting hard to collect. Introducing Mattel Creations into this mix, and you have to start ordering some of these figures online. Now they did a Triclops that was like a comic Triclops, and I didn't buy that. I don't have that, and I don't really care to have that. It doesn't bother me not having that. But I didn't like the idea that the figure, instead of 15, was 17. My first problem with Mattel Creations was the $17 price point, while the figures in the store were still 15. And then my other problem with that was that you had to pay shipping. So there was no option around it, and there was no way to order 3, 4, 5, 6 different characters and have one shipping cost. Nope, you are paying that shipping. You could order 3 of the same character and only have one shipping. So come to my first one I was going to do with them was this Koldar. So I was going to do Koldar. I might have done one more prior to this too. So I have everything set up and ready to order. My son says he wants one, and I'm like, yes, I would love to kind of absorb this cost, amortize this cost of this $7 shipping, because I did not like that. And I placed my order, and they were sold out while I was doing that. I mean, we're talking a few minutes of thinking about this, of a $100 purchase, more or less. It almost was $100 after you add all of them in. And it's crazy that I don't have one. I still don't have a Koldar. Refuse to pay $80 for one. I refuse to pay the $30 or $35 people were selling them for. They were, quote-unquote, scalping these for $35. That's a steal right now. If somebody came out with 100 of these for $35, they'd be sold by the end of the day. But, you know, I passed on. I refuse to pay that price. I refuse to pay the $80. And with that, this is a Mattel Creations problem they've created. Now, I can still sleep at night without owning a Koldar. I have to admit, though, I've watched the episode with him in it a few times now. I kind of want the figure, but I didn't even know who the figure was, so I watched the episodes, and then I was like, oh, okay, great, that's a cool character. Would be nice to have. Now we get into this Fangor figure. Now, no big deal. It's not a big deal, but I got this one. And I actually can't even remember at this point. I'd have to go dig them all out. Was it the Fangor figure, or was it the Cobra Khan figure? Or was it one of these figures that I got from them that the packaging was damaged on it? And I was like, not that big of a deal. Let me just call them up and see if they can send me another one. Well, they said if you have damaged package, you need to mail the figure back, and we might get it for you, or we'd send you something of equal value, or some wording like that. And I said, okay, well, how many do you have in inventory right now? We have none. So I'm going to mail this back to you and not get a figure back. It doesn't make any sense. So what they did was they gave me like a 25% or some small amount, like $10 back on my whole order. And after that, I started noticing that all of my shipments came a week after the rest of the world. It's like I was blacklisted because I called and complained. And I feel like I'm the last person to get anything, because today was the day I got my Rockon. But I'm going to hold off on talking about Rockon until I talk about a few other things. But I've got to say that it just feels really strange, because all my other friends that live in the same area get their stuff almost a week before I do, because I called up and complained. But I had a legitimate problem. My package was damaged. Enter Atoria. Now, I've got to say that with Atoria, I'm very pleased with my Atoria. I think it's a great offering. I'm glad that they did it. I will sing them praises for this, which is why I hadn't made this video, because I wanted to see how my Atoria went. I wanted to see what's going on. I did not have any issues that would require me to send mine back or to even call them and ask them for replacement parts or anything like that. Well, come to find out that people that are having broken parts or parts missing or some issue, you don't find it out until you're either halfway through assembling it, you've already put all the stickers on, and then you're assembling it. And this is a big beast. Well, turns out if you have any issue whatsoever, you have to send the whole thing back. And then maybe they'll send you another whole thing, instead of sending it apart or just giving you what you need. If you have an issue, let's say you rip a sticker or a bunch of stickers, or you completely screw up your stickers, there's no getting those decals back, which is insane. They don't have any. There is exactly zero support for Atoria coming from Mattel Creations. Now, this is from reports from other people. I personally have not had an issue, so I can't report that. But I can tell you, when I start hearing these stories, it feels exactly like the conversation I had about my Fangor or my Cobra Con or whichever one that was, and I don't even know. I mean, I don't even want to look at it because it's so bad, but it's annoying, and it's frustrating, and it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better ever at Mattel Creations when it comes to the customer service aspect of anything. I showed this in my video. I literally took a screen capture out of my video, but this is the dent I got in mine. It's in the back of the box. It's not that big of a deal. I'm centrally located in the middle of the country, so it really didn't have to travel too far. But it's still frustrating this happened. Now, I want to talk about this whole damaged boxes and damaged packaging situation, because as much as everybody in the world wants to completely bash Hasbro, Hasbro has actually done some good when it comes to the packaging and how they pack their HasLabs, and they've done it since day one. And since day one, with the Katana or the Sail Barge, they double boxed it. So you got two boxes. You got an outer brown box and an inner brown box. And when I first opened up my Katana, I was like, why is there two boxes? And then I thought for a bit, I thought, you know what, that's an extra layer of protection, and that's smart. That really was smart. And they've done it for every HasLab that I know of. For the most part, they have taken good care of that packaging. But with this giant Atoria box, you've got a thin layer of cardboard, and it's a lot of cardboard, a lot of surface to cover, and no other protection. So when you get something smashed and damaged, it does not come out very good. Now, I'll admit, mine was nowhere near as bad as this. Now, this is pretty bad. This is a rough one out there, and I think Mega J Retro was one that was kind of bringing some light to this issue of people getting their Atorias beat up. Now, this is not Mattel's fault that the damage occurs. It's Mattel's fault they haven't taken one more step to protect these. But the other thing is the service after the sale. You're not getting a box. I know a lot of people that called up to Hasbro, they got a Katana box, a new box. Maybe they lied, but I'm pretty sure you had to send a picture in. And I know that Hasbro is doing a little bit different too. Like, they made it harder for me to get a replacement Ace from my Sky Striker that had some damage to it. I had to send it back. But I only had to send Ace back. You know what they're saying? You have to send the whole thing back, and maybe you'll get a replacement, but if they can't replace it, they'll refund it, and you'll sit there with no Atoria. It's ridiculous. But Hasbro themselves, they don't make you send the whole thing back. You send the part back that you have an issue with. like me, I sent my one figure back. Makes a whole lot more sense, and it makes a lot more sense financially. Now, I just got my Rockon. Before I get into talking about Rockon, I want to say a huge shout out to Hebro for helping someone else who had an Atoria and was missing a part in their Atoria. It was a connector piece, and I don't have a picture of it and what he did. I just watched a bit of his video, but he made one. He 3D printed one. He took his apart, risked damaging his own Atoria to pull this part out, and it connected the elevator, and he 3D printed one. He basically created one, 3D printed one, spent the day doing that for someone to have a whole one, because she didn't want to send her Atoria back and maybe not get one back. Send her Atoria back to Mattel, maybe not have one. So great job, Hebro. Now, I got my Rockon today, and I gotta say, people have had this for a week. And yeah, you say geographic location. No. People have had theirs, and then days later, mine ships. I get the shipping notification, and then I finally get mine. So I feel like I'm on some sort of a list here, but I will give them one. I will commend them in one way, that it comes with a kind of a plastic, the whole thing's a plastic sleeve. You just slide in and out the card backer so that you can pull the figure out, mess with it, and you put it back in. So that is good. I will say that's a good thing. I like it. And why? Well, it's $20 each now. So the $15 figures I started collecting are now $20, plus 7 shipping and tax. You're looking at close to $30 for one of these figures. At least we get like an 80-cent upgrade or 30-cent upgrade with this sliding sleeve. It feels a little bit more premium, and it's nice. But it does suck that I got mine late. Now, I'm also hearing, and this is from Hebro, that people are having broken knees on their Rockons. Now, I haven't messed with mine enough to break anything on it, so I don't know yet. But I gotta say that that is a quality control issue, and since they've produced exactly what they sold, there's no extras to send out. So if you break them, then you're SOL with Mattel Creations. I mean, they're not going to fix it, they're not going to replace it, and they're not going to help you 0 service after sell with your Rockon. So I don't really know what is left, what's in store, what we're going to get with the Origins line going forward. I know that they're focusing on the Filmation, they're focusing on the Turtle crossovers, but finishing up this Origins line and just getting what we had in Vintage but put back out in Origins is, I think, the number one goal, or should be the number one goal. But I have a couple of issues with this, because first of all, you're going to get one every once in a while. You're going to get one, maybe one a month or one every 2 months. And then if you're just collecting one, then you're spending $30 each. You can't really spread that $7 shipping over a few unless you buy a few. If you buddy up in a buddy program and you buy some from a few different people, then that, let's say you buy 3 and then you distribute 2 of them to your friends, then you kind of share the $7 shipping. And you might say, well, Mike, why are you splitting hairs over $7 shipping? Well, if you buy 10 figures like that, that's $70. Absolutely wasted. Completely wasted. And we don't have a choice in all of this. It's just a thing that's going on. But now we're starting to notice something just a little bit different. There's something else that we're going to start seeing the Masterverse going to there. And with that, this just adds another level, another dimension, another layer of trouble and confusion and expense and time and problems. And now you're seeing that they're going to be limited. It's so much easier just to pre-order them from BBTS. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This is why I think all this stuff is going to Mattel Creations. Retailers are sick of the Masters of the Universe line. They don't want to carry Masters of the Universe. Now, BBTS and them will carry it because they specialize in that. But that's not enough. There's not enough demand from just BBTS, Entertainment Earth, and the handful of retailers online. If Walmart and Target drop them, then the line is not going to do very well as a main line. So to just be online only with it, and with themselves barely producing any for their own site, I don't see the long-term viability of Masters of the Universe past the next few waves, maybe a year or two. Now, we've heard the prediction of the end of this, but I'd like them to finish it up, and I would like it to go on for a long time. But I don't know how profitable it is. I mean, even you say, hey, they're not wasting any money with clearance or sales or any of that kind of stuff, but the production quantity is so low because they're not putting out very many, and they're producing them first and then selling them, meaning that they're not doing pre-orders. So it would be much better if they did pre-orders and said, okay, instead of we're going to produce 10,000 and that's it, let's do pre-orders and people order 40,000, you can see what the real demand is. but they're not doing that either. So there's a lot of problems and confusion and frustration, which makes me think this line doesn't have a lot of life left in it. But we'll see. I'm in it with one toe till the end. I'll keep a toe in it till the end. But I'm curious what you think. Have you had any of these issues with Mattel Creations? Are you frustrated with the fact you have to buy this stuff online for crazy prices and have to pay the extra shipping and all that kind of stuff? But let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tydirium Hanger out.